So welcome back to another video here on the channel. I'm Vic, your host, and we're gonna take a look at Union SG, the league leader in the Belgian top division. And we are now at the end of January 2022, and they're currently leading the table. So I guess this is a team you probably are gonna hear a lot more about if you haven't already, as they probably are gonna be featured in one of the European tournaments next year. And I did a little bit of research, so I figured why not share it with you guys. And we're gonna start by taking a look at the table. So a lot of teams have played 25 games, you have a couple of teams at 23, but Union SG are leading the table by a good margin right here. So they are currently at 57 points, and there are 9 points down to Club Brugge in second place. Then you have Royal Antwerp, who plays today, and they have one game to spare, and they can actually catch up a little bit. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens there. But still, Union SG currently top of the table. And in addition to being the clear league leader, they are also the best offense in the game at 57 goals scored, which is more than 2 goals a game. And they are also the best defensive team at 21 goals conceded, so less than a goal a game. And this is a league which has a lot of goals. So Union SG, they actually promoted last summer. After spending like 5 or 6 seasons in the second division, they promoted last season. And before that, they were even lower in the division system. They were in the lower divisions for 7 years. So this team is owned by Tony Bloom, who's also the owner of Brighton and Hove Albion. And I think this is the reason that there is some player exchange here. Union SG have a couple of Brighton talents on loan, and it also seems like one of the best performers, their German striker Undav, is probably gonna leave the club for Brighton after the season. That's only a rumor though so far, but as far as I know, nothing has been set right there, but it's a heavy rumor. And who knows, maybe some other clubs are gonna throw their interest in there because he is really performing well this season. But the thing about Union SG, they were in the second division. In May of 2020, they hired Felice Mazzu, a manager that previously had managed Charleroi from 2013 to 2019. He then had a chance to manage Genk in 2019. He only lasted like 5 months before he left that job. Then he went like 7 months unemployed before he was picked up by Union SG. And that was basically the start of this fairy tale story. Union have a pretty impressive record under Mazzu, combined in the second division, that one season in the second division which they're promoted, and then this season in the top division where they are currently leading the table by a good margin. They have won 43 league games, they have drawn 7, and they have lost only 8, so that's pretty impressive. And they play with a 3-5-2 formation. They like to attack wide, use their strikers to run out wide and create space for the players coming from behind. They like to do cutbacks, to do tap-ins. In defense, they like to play a very aggressive man-marking system, and super important that the midfielders are able to cover space that is left behind because of that aggressive man-marking. And this is only like a super basic analysis of their tactics. I'm not an expert by any means of these tactics, but this is just something I picked up by reading a couple of articles. And maybe we'll go into detail, maybe I'll do a little bit of research on that in a separate video to see exactly what are they doing. But in general, it's nice to know that this team is playing a 3-5-2 and having a lot of success with it. There are a lot of teams having great success currently all around the globe with a 3 backline, so very interesting to take note of that. And just to round everything out here, let's take a look at the players that are currently leading the way on this team. So you have a couple of very good goal scorers. It's the 2 strikers, it's Undav, and you have Vanzeir, who's Belgian. Undav is German. Undav currently leading the league in goals with his 18. He's tied with, let's take a look at the goal scorer table here to see exactly who is he tied with. Yeah, so you have Undav at 18 goals. He's tied with Michael Frey of Royal Antwerp. Both are at 18. And then you have Vanzeir tied 4th place with Onwachu and Shamar Nicholson. You know, Shamar Nicholson is leaving for Russia, so he's had a pretty good season, super impressive season by the Jamaican striker. And also worth noting is, according to the player rating that whoscore.com calculates on the performances of the players, you actually have 6 players from Union SG in the top 20. We can take a quick look at that as well. We can sort by rating here. So actually the best performing player according to the whoscore.com rating is actually Dennis Undav at 757. And then you have a couple of midfielders right here. You have Teddy Teuma at 727 at 8th place. And you also have Loic Lapoussa, who is more like a left midfielder at 726. And if we also expand this to the next 20 here, we have Dante Vanzeir at 726. We have Kasper Nielsen, the midfielder, at 726 as well. We have Kaoru Mitoma at 719. He hasn't played all that much though. This guy is on loan from Brighton. And you also have Christian Burgess, the central defender, at 7.19. So there's no doubt this team is not like a... I mean, it is a fairy tale story, but there are several players actually performing very well here. It's not a coincidence that this team is able to perform this well over so long. We are, after all, 25 games into the season, and they are still winning games, still at the top of the table. Just out of curiosity, I went into Transfermarkt to take a look at their squad to see what kind of players do they actually have in the squad and their valuation. Could we expect any one of these guys to end up in other clubs as we go along here? So let's take a look over on Transfermarkt. And here we have the squad sorted by market value. And we have Kasper Kozlowski up top here. He's on loan from Brighton. He's valued at 10 million. So he obviously is going to go back to Brighton, I think. Unless there is some kind of other deal there in place that I'm not aware about. Then you have the strikers. You have Vanzeir at 5.5. And you have Dennis Undav at 5. And as I mentioned, there are some rumors about Dennis Undav going to Brighton after the end of the season. Other guys worth mentioning, I guess you have Kasper Nielsen, the Danish midfielder, at 2.5. You have Mitoma, another Brighton loanee, at 2.5 as well. And then you have a lot of these other players, specifically these guys that are top of the ratings table. You have Lapoussa right here at 1.8. You have Teddy Teuma at 1.6, and you have Christian Burgess down here at 1.2. He's 30 years old already, so that will affect his value, even though his performance has been really solid. So that was it for this quick team report. Union SG would be really fun to see if they were able to pick up the league title. The way the league works in Belgium is, I think after they complete like the regular season, the top 4 teams, they go into like a playoff group to decide the league title. And as far as I know, what happens is they are put in the group, they're gonna play each other, and they start out with half the amount of points they got during the regular season. Which means if Union SG still are gonna have like a 9-point lead, that is basically gonna be cut in half before they start the playoffs, so they will have a head start on their opponents, but it's gonna make the league title a little bit more difficult to accomplish, obviously, because it's gonna give the other teams a chance to catch up to them. But nevertheless, I wish them luck. It's always fun to have some new teams winning the leagues, and we're just coming off 2 straight seasons here in Norway where Bodø/Glimt has won the title, and we're also seeing probably a new champion in Turkey as well, with Trabzonspor having a great season down there. So best of luck to Union SG. We're probably gonna hear lots more about them. And what do you think about this team? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.